Now, with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s calls for a new investigation into the assassination of his father, Bobby Kennedy was shot the night that he won the California Democratic primary nearly 50 years ago. A gunman was quickly captured and convicted, but now RFK Jr. wants this case reopened, and ABC's Adrian Bankert is here with more on the story. Adrian, good morning.
Good morning to you too, Paula. Yes, for decades, conspiracy theories about Kennedy's assassination have swirled, but this morning, one of those theories has support from an unlikely candidate, his son.
My thanks to all of you, and now it's on to Chicago, and let's win there.
June 5th, 1968, one of the most shocking moments in U.S. political history. Senator Robert F. Kennedy assassinated minutes after winning the California presidential primary. He was allegedly shot by this man, Sirhan Sirhan, a 24-year-old Palestinian immigrant. Sirhan was convicted of Kennedy's murder in 1969, but this morning, nearly 50 years later, Kennedy's son, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., tells the Washington Post that after reviewing autopsy results for months, he met with Sirhan in prison for 3 hours, walking away convinced Sirhan did not kill his father. One major discrepancy in the reports: Sirhan had a revolver that held only 8 bullets, but audio recovered from the scene reportedly recorded as many as 13 gunshots. Paul Schrade, a campaigner working for Kennedy, was one of the 5 other people who were hit by gunfire that night.
Sirhan was out of position, out of bullets, and could not have shot Robert Kennedy. My demand is a new investigation, an investigation of the second gunman, dead or alive, that they had never done and refused to do and didn't do back in 1968 and 69.
The younger Kennedy says that other evidence in the case doesn't sit right with him either, telling the Post, "My father was the chief law enforcement officer in this country. I think it would have disturbed him if somebody was put in jail for a crime they didn't commit." Sirhan confessed to shooting Kennedy at his trial, but has always maintained he has no memory of the incident.
His lawyer had told him that he was clearly regarded as guilty, that he in order to save his life, because at that time they had capital punishment in California, in order to save his life, he had to plead to the crime.
And it's Schrade, now 93, who's been leading the charge to reinvestigate the killing since the 1970s. And it was Schrade who convinced Robert Kennedy Jr. to independently examine this case. He's hoping the Innocence Project will take it on. Meantime, Sirhan is serving a life sentence. He's been denied parole 15 times, most recently in 2016.
Interesting development. And I think Robert Jr. just wants some closure, but he was 14 when he lost his dad.
He was only 14, the third of 11 children. That's something that we sometimes forget, such a big family with such a painful loss. But one of the interesting things about this case is that Sirhan was reportedly in front of Robert Kennedy, and investigators initially said that he was murdered by a gunshot wound that went through the back of him. So
a lot of questions.
So many questions, and maybe closure soon.
Re-examining history.
Thank you, Adrian.
Adrian, thank you.